foray into loyalty and rewards management through the acquisition of Poshvine. Now, this is Razorpay's 7th acquisition and comes after its recent acquisition of EasyTap. Now, Poshvine is a fintech startup which was founded in 2011 and offers payments-linked loyalty and engagement solutions to banks, payment networks and businesses. Shashank Kumar, the founder and managing director of Razorpay, is with us to talk about what this acquisition means for the company and the road ahead. Shashank, thanks very much for being with us here on Startup Street. Let's start with the rationale behind this acquisition and what the deal valuation is. You haven't disclosed that yet, Shashank.
Hey, thanks for the invitation. Just a quick primer on what Poshvine does, right? So, you have a lot of banks issuing credit cards to consumers, and today, we have more than 8 crore credit cards in the ecosystem, and almost 1.6 trillion rupees of spends on credit cards, which has grown more than 50%, compared to last year, right? With the consumers that the banks have, right, we always try to figure out how can we give, better offers to them, better loyalty solutions to them, so that the consumers prefer spending via their credit cards or the credit limits that they have rather than just transacting via, cash that is there, right? On the other hand, for businesses, it makes sense for them to give out offers, rewards, coupons to the consumers of the bank, because it helps them attract new consumers on their platform and also reduce their marketing spends, right? So Poshvine lies at the center of the ecosystem of merchants, consumers, and banks. And Razorpay plays in the payment space. So that's the reason we went with the acquisition, because we think that with the portfolio of merchants that we have on our platform, a few lakhs of merchants, we can provide much better personalized loyalty solutions to all kinds of consumers. And today, there's a wide variety of consumer personas that we deal with. Someone who is entering their first job versus someone who has been there in the industry for 20 years, or someone who is supporting a family, right? Absolutely. All of them at different stages of life require different kind of support or different kind of offers, right? And through this acquisition and through the smarts that we bring to the table, through the profiling that we are able to do, we think we can really target the loyalty and offers for banks and their consumers in a much, much better fashion.
Absolutely.
And create a lot more value for the merchants also that we have.
So you're creating more value through this deal, but can you tell us how much the deal was, Shashank?
So the deal value is not disclosed. The Poshvine founders wanted it to remain anonymous, and we just want to respect their wishes.
All right.
All right, Shashank, we take that. But, right now, the focus is very much on the online space, and we're moving away from physical transactions and from plastic itself. And you've made this acquisition after your EasyTap acquisition, which was all about being in the offline space. Tell us the long-term value proposition you see from this deal, because, like I said, this is a rewards program for card holders, and cards itself is a business that is, phasing away and moving on to the online space.
So you're right that, plastic card as a format is something that might reduce over time. But if you look at it, the credit card spends and both credit cards have grown significantly year on year, right? As we just discussed, there are today almost 8 crore credit cards in the country, right? And it's seen more than 50% year on year growth. Secondly, with tokenization happening, with now you can tap your card on the POS device itself. And very soon, with Google Pay and others coming on the scene, you will be able to tap your mobile phone on the POS device itself, right? So the plastic as a format might go away, but credit card as a payment instrument is continue to thrive significantly. And if you see the recent announcement on how RuPay credit card will start working on top of the UPI rails, right? So that's going to give another boost to the RuPay credit card ecosystem. And we hope that, MasterCard, Visa will also follow through in due course. So with that kind of enablement, with credit coming on top of the UPI, I think that, that's the kind of tailwinds you want in the credit card ecosystem.
Right.
And lastly, we're still looking at a large number of consumers which still don't have any kind of credit card present with them or any kind of credit lines present with them, right? And the way we have seen the ecosystem evolve, people prefer using their credit card for the loyalty points or for the rewards that they get. And merchants prefer consumers who have credit cards because it increases their capacity to, purchase and make for aspirational lifestyle decisions.
Right.
So all of these things combined, just again, is our belief that if credit card is something that is here to stay and that will continue evolving and continue thriving, along with the rest of the ecosystem.
Right. So credit cards are here to stay, is what you're saying. But Razorpay has said in the past, Shashank, that its core business will always be around enterprises to accept payments. Will the focus of the company remain on growing the B2B offering, or would you look at competing more in the B2C space as well? What will be the growth engines going forward?
We have always remained in the B2B space and will continue to be there. We've always looked at consumers from a B2B2C angle, right? So we always go back to businesses and to banks and, talk about how can we help increase their consumer spends? How can we help them attract more consumers? How can we simplify their payments journey so that they can, the consumers they acquire don't fall through, are able to pay through any of the payment instrument option that is present, right? So both on online, on offline now through EasyTap, as well as through banking channels, through loyalty and rewards program. These are the engines of growth that will continue focusing on and continue increasing on the business side.
Well, Shashank, since we have you here and you brought up EasyTap, what is the status of integration now that the acquisition has been announced? Tell us the latest on that front.
It's been a very exciting period in the company because we are working out through our plans on building out an omni-channel product. Just a reminder that globally, worldwide as well, Razorpay with EasyTap is one of the very few companies which has significant presence in both online and offline payments. So I think it's still a bit early. We are going through the merger of the teams, that are present. But we are looking at, bringing on certain innovations that we think will really benefit the end consumers when you bring on the online and the offline world together. Also today, right, we have started conversing with the merchants and the brands, and many of the brands are slowly becoming channel agnostic. It doesn't matter whether the consumer comes on online or offline or through social media or SMS. You want to ensure that you're giving a great payments experience to the consumers, right? So with this combined offering, that's where our focus is. And we're hoping in 5 to 6 months down the line, we'll be able to, do some very good product releases on omni-channel payments front.
All right. So new products 5 to 6 months down the line on the omni-channel front, but 7 acquisition down, a big one, including like
integration and driving a lot of synergies among the acquired entities, right? Having said that, if there are really good product teams available, really good solutions available that helps us further increase our presence in the payment space or in the banking space, I think we'll continue evaluating those options. Just to remind, like, acquisition is always very opportunistic, and we always look for acquisition from the lens of culture, product, and ensuring that 1 + 1 is greater than 2.
All right, Shashank, thanks very much. That's all the time we have today. We wish you all the very best. On that note, I'm going to toss it back to Shruti.
All right, Ritu, moving on the hot seat today, we have Mumbai-based Kuku FM that recently raised $21.8 million in its Series B1 funding round led by the Fundamentum partnership. Now, this fundraise marks Fundamentum's first investment from the recently launched second fund. Also, this is Kuku FM's second fundraise this year. The venture raised $19.5 million in March that was led by Crafton Inc. And to talk about Kuku FM's digital-first, tech-led approach, its focus on the Bharat market and the audio content boom in India. Joining me now is its co-founder and CEO, Lal Chand Bisu. Lal, many thanks for joining us on Startup Street today. And as I mentioned, this is Fundamentum's first investment from its recently launched second fund. How does its founders' first approach help you scale your business? What does their backing mean to you?
Yeah, thanks for inviting me here. So let me first tell you what is Kuku FM. So we are a subscription-based audio content platform, and we are in a premium segment. Like most of the content that consumed on our platform is in non-fiction side, like self-help, biography, history, personal finance, and recently we discovered that parenting content is also working. So like we are in the aspirational segment, and on our platform today we have 7 languages. Till January 2022, we were only in Hindi language. In last 2 quarters, we expanded in 6 more languages. So we are completely Bharat product. And just to give you context, we started our monetization from January 21, and today we are at 1.8 million active paid subscriptions on Kuku.
All right, Lal, so we'll get into that a little later into the show. But what I wanted to ask you was, how does Nandan Nilekani, getting him on board, how does the Fundamentum backing mean to you?
Yeah, we are very excited to onboard Fundamentum. So actually, just to tell you that 70% users are from tier 2 and beyond cities, and 90% users we are getting through UPI. So Nandan Nilkar is the father of UPI. So we are very excited. They understand these geography and these users very well. So I think this will add a lot of value in our journey.
All right. Along with the fresh funds, you plan to expand your catalog. You plan to offer more language choices to listeners apart from the 7 that you already have. You want to absolutely focus on Bharat. If you could take me through your expansion plans and any new offerings in the pipeline.
Yeah, so we are expanding in 2 axes. One is we are expanding in geography-wise. As I told you that we recently expanded in 6 languages. So in first quarter of 2020, we expanded in South Belt of India, Tamil, Telugu, Malayalam, and Kannada. And in second quarter of 2020, we expanded in Hindi and Marathi language. We are very early in these languages, so we are doubling down in these languages. And second expansion is in genres. So currently we have self-help, motivation, biography, history content on our platform. Now we are focusing on audio courses, parenting content. So we are expanding on 2 axes.
All right, let's talk about money. How are you monetizing content? Take me through the revenue models, the arrangement you have with your content creators, and also, like you mentioned, I believe you've got 1.8 paid subscriptions already.
1.8 million.
1.8 million.
Subscriptions. 18 lakh. So we are a subscription-based product, and we use this like we give some sampling free on our platform. Then you will hit the paywall. So like we are kind of freemium platform. You can do some test on content, and then you to consume the complete content you have to pay on our platform. And most of the users pay for value add in their life. So as I told you that most of the users want to grow in their life. They have some aspiration to grow in their life. So mostly they consume this non-fiction content on our platform.
Okay, all right. With newer platforms emerging on the scene, there's been a content explosion of sorts from different genres to various regional languages. What have been your best-selling formats? Also, what geographies do you see heavy traffic coming from?
Yeah, so most of that, so there are like multiple content platforms for users to consume the content. One is like they can consume video, and second they consume text, and third is they consume audio. So audio. So let me just explain that how video and text adds value. So while you consume text and video, you have to like physically sit and consume that content physically restrict you. Audio gives you physical freedom. So it is in different time zone. While like you consume audio while you are commuting, while you are doing repetitive tasks, while you are like doing jogging or exercise, while you are taking rest. So audio is in different time zone, and like it adds value equal to video and text.
All right. With startups receiving fresh funding, you've got global players tapping into the local market, and the government, of course, is giving the much-needed push. Audio as content is seeing a boom like never before. What new trends do you see emerge as the Indian audience's appetite grows for premium, unique, and immersive digital audio experiences? What are they looking for? What are the new trends that you're seeing?
Yeah, this is a very interesting question. So actually, we are a fully non-music audio content platform. And actually, we are creating new vertical itself. So there was no non-music industry before this. So there was no content available. For OTT platforms, there were movies. For music platforms, there was music available from past. But for us, there was no content available. So we started in 2018, and actually we created this vertical. So now, like after 4 years, we have the biggest premium content library on our platform. And like there are a lot of other players now, they are seeing that our traction, that we are getting success on our platform. So there are big players who are jumping in this space, but like they are still not figured out that what these Indian audience or this Bharat audience wants to consume in audio.
All right, Rahul, we've completely run out of time, but many thanks for joining us on Startup Street today, and wish you the very best with all your growth plans.
Thank you for inviting me.
All right, on that note, we have to slip into a very short break, but don't go anywhere, because coming up next, beauty and skincare brand Plum expects to turn profitable at the EBITDA level by the last quarter of this financial year. A special conversation is lined up with the founder on the other side.
Welcome back. You're still with us on Startup Street. Beauty and skincare brand Plum expects to turn profitable at the EBITDA level by the last quarter of this financial year, given high operating leverage in the industry. Speaking to my colleague Shilpa Rani Peta, the founder and CEO of Plum, Shankar Prasad, said that they are operationally profitable currently, but marginally negative at the company level due to experimentation and expansion activity across the board. He also said that they expect to clock 700 crore rupees of net revenue by FY24 and that they are already seeing signs that this festive season will be a blockbuster one. Take a look.
I think this season is going to be a blockbuster by all means, and we've already seen early signs. We have, in July and in September, we have sales on the online channels, which sort of precede the offline stuff that will pick up now, starting September. From whatever we are seeing, our targets of 2.5x over last year, we're able to achieve them. And consumers are now willing to experiment a lot more, look at new categories, and be part of brands that they trust and they love. And so being in the right place at the right time is important for brands to capitalize on the season.
Right. And I wanted to understand with respect to your offline and online mix also. Of course, you started as an online brand. Currently offline, what's the kind of presence that you have? Give me a sense of your store expansion plans also. And what's the revenue sales mix for online versus on offline?
So we are today about 60% online, 40% offline. That 40% comes from about 1,200 assisted sales points inside of, let's say, beauty and cosmetic stores, departmental stores, big grocers, which are assisted points. Unassisted points is currently 12,000 and counting. Our aim is to take the unassisted number to closer to 40 to 50,000 over the next, let's say, 8 to 12 months, for which the plan is already afoot. In addition, we have our exclusive outlets, which we started doing last year. I'm happy to report that we are now about 12 stores and expanding at the rate of 2 to 3 a month. We are being selective about where we open. Otherwise, there are lots of places we can open stores. We're being selective about where we open, and I think getting to a number of around 30 by this financial year end seems very doable, and 50 by same time next year is where we will be. These stores are as much about experiencing the brand as they are about a source of revenue for us.
Correct. So, that's a lot of aggressive expansion plans that you have lined up. Wanted to understand what is the situation with respect to funding. Are you flush with cash right now, or will you be looking at raising funds? And have you seen any impact from this funding winter that we're talking about?
So we closed our Series C about 6 months back, somewhere in March or April. And I think we are now well capitalized to make use of the opportunity that is in front of us. The opportunity is what excites us the most in terms of what's possible in the beauty and personal care market in India. As far as capital is concerned, we are well provided for. As it is, we run a business model which is not very cash burn intensive. For us as a business, cash is not a constraint at the moment. Coming to the funding winter question, I think funding is yet not a problem for businesses which are thoughtfully run. Right. Definitely very hope-driven funding, I think, has taken a back seat. But for strong businesses, I think capital is yet still not a constraint.
Right. What's the kind of annualized revenue you're clocking at this point, and what are your targets for FY23? And are you operationally profitable? Are you profitable at a company level? Give me a sense of that.
Sure. We are operationally profitable, marginally negative at the company level because we are undertaking a lot of experiments with new categories, new channels, lots of new expansion that's happening across the board. And therefore, we are comfortably positive at a CM2 level. At an EBITDA level, we are slightly negative, which we are not too worried about. But we have to balance growth and profitability. In terms of the other question was about? The revenue. The revenue this year, we hope to close at just above 400 net revenues. At a run rate possibly was 500. And from there on, FY24, looking at a 700 does not seem out of the question.
And you said that though at an EBITDA level you're still negative, you're not too worried about that. By when do you think you'll turn profitable? A rough timeline. And also wanted to understand, a lot of D2C brands, startups going the IPO route. Is that something that's on the cards for you?
So the second question is easier to answer. Our approach is build the right business. IPO and other corporate actions are, it's part of the story, it is not the story. In terms of EBITDA profitability, our belief is that given the high operating leverage in this industry, we should be able to by the last quarter of this year or early next financial year, we should be able to move to EBITDA positive without giving up on the growth ambition that we have. We could turn EBITDA positive today if you wanted to very easily, but we just need to make sure that we are calibrating growth properly and doing the right things in terms of setting the brand in the right context in the eyes of people, and that takes a lot of experimentation which we have today unleashed. So I think we'll just let these experiments run, and some of them will, I'm sure, grow into successes, which will give us the next wave of growth that we are looking at. So in terms of EBITDA profitability, maybe we are 3-4 quarters out and not beyond that.
So what's going to be your growth driver? Because you have hair, you have skin, you have makeup, you have a men's grooming brand as well. Which of these do you really think, and do you any new category extensions, new brands also that you're eyeing?
So the easy answer to your question and the true answer to your question is that all of these are seeing growth. They are at various stages of development for us. Skin is a slightly more, as far as new categories go, again, there is so much growth and that we see in these 5, and these cover a fairly large part of the purchase basket for the consumer, that we don't see the need to do too many new things. But if we come across something opportunistic, we'll probably end up doing that.
With that, it is a wrap on this edition of Startup Street. For news and updates coming up on the other side, stay tuned.